gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the GFreak Speaks podcast, episode number 49. Yeah, we're getting there to that 50 bomb, baby. This podcast is brought to you by absolutely nobody. So if you want to jump on, sponsor the podcast, slide into the DMs at JackoGFreak or JackoGFreak@gmail.com. We can organize something happening. But today we are joined by ACETHEMGAMING. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the podcast.
Good mate, good mate. Appreciate you having me on. It's awesome to be here. It's good to be on the other side, I guess.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That was kind of like the similar response that I gave as well, man. Like when you go onto someone else's podcast, when you have one, it's such a totally different experience to a degree. But you can kind of understand what questions and how the flow is going to go and all that type of stuff as well. So it really. Hosting a podcast and then going onto one, you kind of already understand the flow and the trajectory of how it works and stuff. So, but yeah, it's nuts, man. But dude, what's been happening, man? You been well?
Man, I can say what I always say. I always like say same shit, different day.
Yeah.
It's because I say that to all my friends when I go out. Because like when I see my friends, like maybe once a month, they say, "What's going on, man?" Oh, same shit, different day. Because like. I don't know. It's not really the same shit because I'm so busy that I almost can't be bothered talking about it because I'm like, I'm just so tired. I don't want to go over it. And I tell one friend the story about what's going on in my life, and then the next one will ask what's going on. I got to tell the same thing because I'm seeing them once a month. There's like 10 of them.
I know.
Telling the same thing over and over again. So I just say, oh, same shit, different day. Like whatever I'm posting on social media is pretty much what I'm doing. So I guess to everyone that's watching, like, or sees, my socials or EXO socials or True socials, that's pretty much just what I'm doing, just like grinding. I mean, I guess the newest thing is EXO Clan just announced our partnership with Glitch Energy, so that's new, I guess. So that's pretty cool. So EXO Clan's going well, True's going well. Things, I guess, in the esports scene start to die down a little bit towards Christmas. Like, obviously, there's like sales from brands, but it'll start to die down. But with me, man, nothing new. Just like head down, grinding, doing as much as I can, dipping my fingers into every single little thing I can. That's it, really.
Absolutely, man. Tell me a bit about how you feeling this time of year. Like I know that it gets to the end of the year, you've got to buy people presents. I guess like for us blokes, like we're always the caretaker, I guess, like when it comes to this time of year when you're always like buying presents and bringing in, I guess if you've got a partner or whatever, you're bringing in that cash income from your job and all that type of stuff, and things start to ramp up financially quite a lot, and it can get a bit stressful for people and whatnot. How are you finding yourself this time of year compared to last year, or how are you going this year, man? You all good?
Yeah, pretty good. I guess you start to get into a bit of a flow. It's obviously when you have a partner, you sometimes, depending on how close your families are, whatever, or sometimes if they're quite big, you might split the day up, which we're actually changed now. We're doing like a Christmas Eve and then a Christmas Day thing with the two families rather than having it both on the same day because it's just way too much. Too much food. Like if I have like breakfast or lunch at one place, when I go to the next place, like I'm like full and I feel bad. I can't eat their food. So, but like the presents wise and stuff, again, I think it's just like a flow. You sort of know what people want. Like me and my partner now sort of agreed that we won't buy each other presents. We'll just go shopping together and buy ourselves what we want rather than sort of trying to guess or surprise or just give each other money or like, hey, babe, I want this. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go buy it. But it's like, why don't you just buy it? Like, we're together. It's my money's your money's my money. So we just like have fun shopping together. And family wise, it's just like, just buy mum nice flowers and stuff or grandma buy nice flowers. Dad will just, because he weirdly loves Pepsi Max or sugar-free drinks because he's like a health nut, even though it's not the healthiest thing, but like he just loves Pepsi Max. So I just buy him a carton of Pepsi Max.
Like sugar-free shit, don't you reckon? What the fuck's in that sugar-free stuff?
He just cancer, isn't it? Cancer.
Fuck.
No, he just loves loves fitness. He's like almost 70 years old, but goes to gym every single morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then goes to the driving range straight after and then goes to work.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's a freak, man.
Times you go to
But he
sleep
doesn't
at?
know for like 8:30, like an old man. But he
Okay.
knows nothing about like he doesn't
kinda
really know
late.
much about like dieting or health. He just like limits his calories total.
Yeah.
So then anything that says like sugar free, he's just like, oh yeah, it's great. Or anything that says protein in it, it's like, oh, it's great. It's like when you go to like Boost Juice and they have those balls at the front and like it just says like protein ball, but like it's full of like a shitload of sugar. And it's just like, oh, just because it says protein, it's not healthy. But like people, get sort of tricked by that sort of branding.
Yep.
But yeah, just carton of Pepsi Max or carton of like no sugar solo. He's just like living the dream.
Love that. I love that. Dude, I went to a golf simulator yesterday for one of my mates' birthdays, and it was great. It was good fun, but tell you what, man, it's fucking hitting that ball, that little fucking ball with that little fucking face of the golf club. It's tough, man. It's so tough. Like, I'm actually good at like mini golf and putt, but I just can't. Like the drive, I can't connect properly. Cannot connect. Are you any good at golf?
I used to play at a pretty high level.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I've played golf since I was like 6 years old.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I've been playing a while. So yeah, I love it. I love it. So I'm not getting out as much as I used to just because of the whole esports stuff. But yeah. I'd go alright. I do want to get a bigger house. I mean, it's tough. I got to pick between either a gaming room or a gym room or a simulator room. So I want it all. So one day I think I'll have a giant shed and I'll have a gym out there with a golf simulator as well. Because my mate's got one, lives just around the corner, and I think I would absolutely waste my life just hitting golf balls, playing on all these different golf courses. It's pretty fun, but nothing beats the real thing. Except it's good exercise. So.
Oh yeah, I love the part about doing the real 18 or 9 holes or whatever is that you get to drive around with the boys and I don't know whether or not it's up people's alleys, but have a bevy whilst you're doing that. And it's just that whole experience of talking shit whilst blokes are hitting balls, The worst part is when you shank them into the fucking, you're just like, well, there goes that ball. I'm not even going to go for that.
Just let it go.
But
give it to the golf gods can have that one.
Absolutely, man. When I go with my mates, like we just go closest to the pin. So everyone has a tonk. Whoever's closest, we'll just go with that ball and put your ball from that ball. That's it. Like we don't really give a shit.
Ambrose,
yeah. And that's it, man. Like it's just all about getting out there, having a walk or whatever. But even then, like walking the track whilst you're on the sauce or whatever, you just like can't be fucked, mate. You just drive the cart. That's the whole thing about getting the cart. It's just so fun, man. So fun to drive around.
I used to get up at like 5 a.m. on like Sunday mornings and play all these courses around like my state and play 36 holes for like tournament golf in one day.
Fucking hell.
So we used to get up there, play 18, you'd have like a little half an hour break, have your lunch, and then off to play another 18. Yeah, it was pretty grim. So like that was tough. So I'm happy not walking that anymore. But the golf carts and beers, I think it's one of the few sports where you can actually do that like well and still have a good time. And no matter what level of golfer you're at, like you always have a good time with the mates with the golf carts and beers, and yeah, it's the best. We do actually every year. There's a bunch of us. We do like a charity day. There's like we have 2 teams and we play against each other. We have a trophy. The trophy slowly stacks with the wooden bits underneath with like the plates on it.
Yep.
And yeah, every year we all put in like I think like $50 each, and at the end we just send them, the winners choose the charity and we just send it to them. It's pretty good.
All right, there, man. All right, that's a real cool incentive, and it's a good day for I guess mate bonding and stuff. And to your point, like having a bevy with the golf clubs, it is definitely one of the few that you can do that. And also to that point is that look, I think that probably most Australians would most likely improve whilst being a bit sourced.
Less pressure.
Yeah, less pressure. No one gives a shit. They're like, yep, just swing it up there. We've evolved from cavemen, okay? The cavemen had the club billions of years ago. We've still got the club. It's just what we do as blokes, okay? We swing clubs and hit shit. And all that type of stuff, man. But look, tell me, expand for me and everyone listening on your role at the EXO clan, because we've had Exodus on, who was the CEO and still is the CEO of EXO clan, and I want to know and learn a bit more about your role and your involvement with the EXO clan. So
I pretty much do everything in a way, but it's more like a supportive role. So I'll take everything. So I can allow Exodus to have time to do other things. So like right now, he's the coach for our Apex team. So ALGS Quals is on. So I try to do as much as I can so he has more free time to coach them during practices and get scrims in and all that. So he doesn't have to worry about all the other shit. I sometimes like liaise to our managers below us and get them to distribute what they need to do to their teams and stuff like that. Like we've got even a few more team announcements going on. Organizing graphics, I guess sending invoices out, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's just a bit of everything. I think that's just how it is when you're sort of like not like at those big levels yet. You're sort of still sort of doing everything as that sort of manager, and sort of still a lot of orgs at our level and even higher than us who are doing stuff outside of their, I guess, traditional role. I feel like in esports there isn't really a traditional role similar to like just your standard business role. So I think like me as a CEO compared to someone who's a CEO of like a firm or something would be completely different in what their generalized roles would be. So yeah, man, I think it's just a bit of everything. It's not like your normal role. It's the same as like most managers out there, just sort of helping out in every which way I can. I think one of my biggest things I'm doing is I do a lot of like sponsorship hunting and liaising, and so I do a lot of the reaching out to brands and sponsors and trying to see if they want to come on board, like we did with Mad Cats and most recently Glitch. So that was good to start those talks and do that. So yeah, having the platform of EXO to allow me to sort of reach out to those brands to take us a bit more seriously has been good to engage with them, and it's probably sort of a role that I'm pretty good at in that sort of side of things at acquiring sponsors. So I'm pretty proud of that side. So yeah, man, just a bit of everything.
It's funny when you jump on board with esports and you find yourself in a role or doing something that you love but you're also good at, surprisingly. You're like, oh shit, okay. And then you think back and you're like, well, I kind of want to, if esports isn't able to pay the bills for you, you kind of want to expand and go to a regular, I guess, regular with quotation marks job. But the issue is that, like, if you don't have a degree, sometimes it can be very difficult to get your foot through that door. But whilst you've had years of experience, depending on who you are, whilst you've had years of actual groundwork experience on the field, they just don't care about that because all they care about is a piece of fucking paper. It's so difficult, man. Like, I don't know if you've ever come across it, but yeah, it's literally all they kind of look at, and I understand it, but at the same time, it's just like, oh man, like it's so difficult to be able to get your foot in the door with someone. You just kind of, all you need is just that foot in the door, and then you get that couple years of experience, and then you're sweet. You're set.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get that job interview, get that interview, and get direct contact with whatever companies you're working with, and all that type of stuff. But how have you found that your knowledge and everything that you've learned through EXO has kind of crossed over into what you do in the trade?
It's funny, probably not at all.
Okay.
It's actually probably the opposite. It's probably my real life experiences has helped immensely into my esports life. So like before my trade, which is like flooring, I used to be a PT, and I got my certificate for that, and I used to be a chef as well. So I think like being a PT or being in the fitness world, engaging with so many different personalities and variety of different people, all at different mental states as well, male and female. Same with like being a chef, engaging with all the different staff and stuff like that, and problem solving and all that sort of stuff. Same as PT, problem solving with people who have limitations. It's helped me to be able to relate to anything I come across in esports. So like obviously you have teams and content creators, or all of them are so different in what they do and how they act and what they're going through. And then you have sponsors who have different teams you're talking to, or different people. So you got to be quick on how to be on their wavelength and, get on a friendly relationship. Like some, marketing teams or sponsors can be a bit more aggressive and maybe want to ego chow you a bit more. And then you have other ones who are very friendly and, want to be part of the team and all sort of stuff. So be able to, my real life going into esports has helped me to be able to like be really quick on the ball and think quickly on my feet. engage with those types of people. So I think if I went into a different job in my real life, which wasn't a trade, because trades is very easy. Like I get the job, I go out, I do it, whatever. But like if I was in more the sales part or going into another job where it's more front of house business, I think the esports experience would help me in that side, because I've learned a bit more about the insides and how to, maybe understand sponsorships and stuff like that. But yeah, it's probably the complete opposite with the trade side.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Like I've come from trade, then I went into like an office type of thing, and I found that my esports experience helped me with that. Now I'm back in the trade, and I'm kind of wanting to go back and find a job in that content creation for a company and whatnot, because I know that I can give them a different insight into how to really create content creation, compared to that stereotypical marketing that they generally stick with. But we're trying to hit something outside the box, which may work better, because outside audiences outside of esports don't really see that, and they're not really exposed to those types of things. So you're like, wow, if it works in esports, then it quite possibly will work with bigger brands, and then you're kind of revolutionizing the brands themselves, and like, holy shit, this is totally different. Production value is higher. The content ideas are better, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, trying to get your foot in the door, depending on where you're going, is great. But being a PT, man, impressive.
Yeah, man, it was just it's probably starting to start to get deep now. I
can lift the weight.
Yeah.
Lower belly.
That's it, man. Running the big dog. It's looking a bit worse for wear now. I used to always be bullied when I was a kid for being overweight. And I probably got to and then I lost a lot of weight when I had a growth spurt, and like a lot of it was funny. I had a big growth spurt and I lost so much weight, and I felt $1,000,000. Like I've never felt I definitely had the ego. I thought I was top shit when I lost that weight after high school. And then obviously got into cooking and became a chef, and I ate everything. I ate it all. Like I was there in the cool room, because I don't know if you know much about it, but chef's social life is pretty much nothing. Like it's shit. If you're doing a night shift, you start at 4:30, and then you probably finish 11:30, 12, and then everyone's out already, or they're going home or something. So you're by yourself the whole time. So you might just sit after with the chefs and just sit there, or you go in the cool room, you get some cream, and you're just having your food, you're cooking and stuff like that. You just I'm just
oh mate, I love that.
Little buzz. Yeah, so and then just eating the whole time, whatever I wanted, I could just cook and eat it. Having steak every night, or chips or burgers or whatever.
Steak's not too bad.
So then it's the other shit you're having with it, like all the gravies and stuff. And then just got really fat. I got pretty much to 110 kilos, and I was I was just fat, depressed, getting really bad. And then I don't know what happened. I think it just got to the point where I'm I think I guess I wanted, especially for a partner like a girl, I wanted higher than I knew I could get. Okay. I wanted that better looking girl than I knew that I could personally get. And then I was like, stuff it. I just switched over and said, no, I'm going to lose weight.
Yep.
And and then I just sort of lost heaps of weight and sort of fell in love with fitness, and decided to just go to the Australian Institute of Fitness, get my license, and then just started, I guess doing what I did for other people, helping them, go through their stuff and all that. And, I've been, doing weights since I was 33 now. Probably been doing it since I was 21.
Are you fucking 33, bro? Holy shit, man. Yeah. Holy shit. I thought you were about my age, man.
How old are you?
25. 8 years.
Okay, so young, man.
8 years difference, bro. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, man. So, just got into that, and, just sort of fell in love and haven't sort of looked back. Just keep sort of training, I love it, man. I don't know what I'd do without it, to be honest.
It's a thing that only few do, but many dream of doing. But it's really not too hard to get in the gym, but it is hard. It's really a hard explanation for me to kind of dissect here. A lot of people, you'll see on these fitness magazines, or even let's say Sports Illustrated, they put some I guess bigger structured people on there that really aren't healthy. And they say that they're loving life. It's the best, blah,
Yeah.
blah,
Don't
blah. They're
get me started,
so
mate.
happy. And you're like, yeah, bullshit. Okay, bullshit. And then a year or two later, they have this sudden weight transformation, whoever they are, these celebrities. And then they say, I was depressed back then. I was so upset, not happy with myself, blah, blah. And you're like, no shit. We're not built to be like that. Especially with like the American, Australian, just the Western society diet, man. It's just so fat concentrated and all that type of shit. So like there's so many people that they just need to pick themselves up, man. You know, pick themselves
Well,
up.
it's crazy, like how. That's why sometimes I hate social media. It's just like, say, like Adele, like she was like a bigger girl, but she's still great. And I don't think she's anywhere near some of those girls that they're throwing on Sports Illustrated just to like prove a point.
Nah.
And then she lost all this weight, nothing ridiculous. She just lost a good amount of weight and she looked fantastic. She looked really healthy. But then all the people on her social media, like her people who were probably supporting her because she was like a big girl, started throwing hate at her because she lost all this weight. I'm like, she's just trying to be like that. It just blew my mind. I was filled with rage. I'm like, how can you hate someone for just like, she probably didn't even do much. She probably just ate healthy and started like just moving more. Like it's not hard to lose weight. Like you can literally just sometimes just go for walks and just eat better. Like gym actually, there's so many different exercises and things you can do to lose weight now. It's not like just gym. Like is everything out there. So there's no excuse to say, oh, I don't like lifting weights. I'm like, you can do. There's so many things out
Eat
there.
less.
Like, and there's so many different varieties of foods out there. There's so many things to make your life easier. It's just comes down to how bad do you want it? Like
It is
and then
bad
don't
that
hate other people for doing it.
absolutely, man. And to your point with Adele, she's gorgeous, man. And it's terrible to see people like just attack her for losing weight. It's like, you're not one of us anymore. Like, it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? It's like that people live their lives through, like, let's use her as the example. People that are overweight use her as a outlet for their own stuff. And they're like, oh, well, she's going through what I'm going through. And now that someone that they look up to and they listen to her music and they probably get something else, some different messaging out of her music than what she really meant through her songs. And they would be like, now that she's not part of one of us, so fuck her. She's left our club and let's now hate her because now that makes me feel even worse than what I already did beforehand by her doing that and upskilling, showing them. And it's just, dude, everyone's just never happy for someone. Like, have you ever...
They almost make it feel like it's a race war in weight. And it's so ridiculous. It's like, it's just so crazy how you can hate someone for being healthy. And it's just okay, well, you're just that kind of human then, cool.
It's shocking, man. It's shocking. It really is shocking. Like how many people do you tell like a good story to, right? And your friends probably wouldn't listen to this podcast. But how many people would you tell a good story to that, I've just been assigned being like the 2IC at EXO clan. This means this, this, and this. How many of them actually really care? You know what I mean?
It's probably only one.
Yeah.
And the others are probably just like, oh yeah, cool, man. It's like, yeah, it's cool. But like, in some aspects, I understand it because they don't understand it. Like when I try to explain esports to people who have no idea about gaming, it's a huge head fuck. Like they just don't get it. Like, oh, you sign. There's pro players. People watch people play games. I'm just like, oh, kill myself. Like, and even True is easier because I just say, oh, I'm like, say Geelong Football Club, like merchandise store. You go in and you buy all the team's merch. So I'm doing that for gaming organizations. I just supply merchandise. That's what I am. I'm a merchandise supplier. So, but when it comes to the esports side, it's just so hard sometimes to wrap people's heads around it that they're just like, oh, cool, man. Like I think they really understand it. So they don't want to go too deep because they know maybe how much I love it. And then I'm probably going to go on and on about it. I'm just like, well, actually, I don't really want to explain it too much to you because I'm doing that all the time. Like, but like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. I get it, but then it's just like, it'd be cool if, you know, some people just like, oh, that sounds exciting. Like, you know, maybe just learn something. Like I learned something about everyone else's job. You know, what's the difference? It's a job's a job. A hobby's a hobby.
I feel like it's a little bit of ignorance as well. Like they don't care, like they pretend to care type of thing. Like for example, I don't know anything about accounting. Like this is just a random thing out of the blue. I don't know anything about it, and all I know is that it's spreadsheets and it's numbers, it's tax, it is delegation of roles, duties, checking out, writing off, all that type of shit. The very basic shit I know. But if one of my buddies said that, oh, I've had this promotion, and I'm like, oh great, tell me about it. What do you do? Okay, you're an accountant. Okay, well tell me about that. Okay, yeah, great. Now, what does your role entail you to do now? Like the new role? Oh, great. New office space as well? Oh, that's sick as, man. Yeah, fucking great. Do you get to work with, you know, higher ups and they teach you some more stuff? Yeah, great. Like, that's just how any conversation should go. It should just, if you genuinely give a fuck. But
and
you
even
can
though
tell.
even if I feel like if you're a friend and say you don't really care or like that space at all, do exactly what you just did there. Like, make the person feel like you're excited for them, so they feel good, so then they feel more open to talk to you about it, and then also they might feel good that you asked them that, so they might ask you something bad, like, but don't just be like, oh yeah, cool, man, okay, and then that's it. Like, you know, like genuinely, at least a friend should, you know, at least try to pretend to be excited and feel genuine, try to be genuinely happy for the person. But yeah, I think you're right, it is a bit of ignorance, and you know, it's just like, because it's so still new in, especially in like, I guess to a lot of our friends, they're just like, I don't really want to understand, I don't get it all, so I don't really care that much. Like, because none of my friends, I've probably only got one friend, like, out of my close group, one friend that actually plays games somewhat, not in the esports scene. He just plays like, you know, a bunch of games now and again, might play CS like once every couple of months, but the rest like don't ever touch games ever or follow the space one tiny bit. So I think, you know, maybe in the future, maybe if EXO takes off and you know, we're doing really well in a bigger position, maybe they'll think it's a bit more serious and want to know more, because I think it's maybe,
but
you know,
I've got to cut in here. I've got to butt in. But say that EXO pops off and it starts going better, they want to be involved. Why? Because they're, you know what I mean? Is that the wrong reason? I don't think
they'll want to be involved. I think they'll you know
what I mean?
It is
like
it is 100% the wrong reasons. They'll just think, oh, I think maybe at the moment they think, oh, it's just a hobby or a little side gig. But like, I'm working just as hard as I would like my full-time job. Like, I'm coming home from a full-time job and then doing this at night. So it's like, you know, okay, I'm not getting paid, but like, I'm working my ass off to hopefully be in that position where I'm able to do a job that I genuinely love, and I love this space. So yeah, you're right. They 100% should maybe take more seriously or ask more questions. And it does suck if it does get massive and they see, you know, it's my full-time job and I'm making good money, then they'll start to ask questions. Yeah, that sort of sucks. But at the same time, I can understand from a human standpoint, from a genuine human standpoint, but it's still, back in my head, you decide, oh, so now you want to know. Now you want to know what's going on or how it all works, and stuff like that. I know that they're definitely not reaching for handouts or anything, but they just like, it's more exciting when it's popping off, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, man. Like, I'm not saying that people need to be like kissing ass, and it's just those general questions that I asked before. Like, oh, you got a promotion? Great. How did you get it? What did you do to get that? Who are you working with now? What does that job entail? Just things like that. Really pick their brain. No one else is going to ask those questions. So asking these unique questions, what are you most looking forward to about it? You know, things like that. Apart from, oh, what's the pay? Oh, what do you get now? Oh, that's fucking awesome. Oh, congrats, dude. Oh, well, so anyway, the other day I was fishing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
oh, are you busy? I'm like, of course I'm fucking busy. Like I'm always busy.
Yeah, it's just fucked, man. Like, it just anyway, that shit happens. That's life, and you kind of learn and you evolve and you understand who really is there, who isn't, and all that type of shit, and so on, really. So, but yeah, your involvement with EXO is really cool, and a genuine congratulations from someone in the space that understands the space, genuine congratulations there on the little promotion there. But flooring, man, as a fellow flooring enthusiast and floorer, what do you do, mate?
So I install flooring for people's houses or domestic, commercial, all that sort of stuff. So from laminate to vinyl to carpet tiles, all that sort of stuff. Family owns a flooring shop, so I work in there as well, do sales, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, man, just all that sort of stuff. Been doing that since I was 18, I think, 18, 19.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing that a long time, man.
So when were you a PT? Was that the side gig before esports?
Yeah, I was doing PT at night.
Okay.
So straight after flooring, I'll go do PT.
Do PT, and then you dropped PT and chef. When did you fit the chef?
So PT. So I did PT probably when I was like 23. So from probably 18. Just when I turned 18, I went and got my bartender's license.
Yep.
And I went into to a restaurant, said, "Can I work here?" And they said, "We've got no spots for you, but if you want, we got a spot to be a dish pig." And I'm like, "Okay, well, how much is that?" They're like, "Oh, it's $27 an hour." I'm like, "I'll take $27 to wash dishes." Sweet,
That's
bro.
fucking really good, man.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck.
Sweet.
At Subway, I was getting like $14.50 an hour.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. So then I started doing there, and then they just sort of started bringing me towards the kitchen because I needed more people on because they were getting busy. And then just sort of started learning from there, and then just sort of went really well and sort of took out. Like, I've always loved food, and I don't know if anyone watches my social media, I'm always posting about food or steaks and stuff like that.
Good food. Oh my god,
I love food.
Oh fuck, dangerous.
So yeah, and then just sort of evolved in that, and then probably when I was like 22, 23, that's when I was like, wow, I'm so fat. Like it's not like fat like. I was not like obese, but I was 110 kilos, and it was probably more the mental why I wanted to do it, not just because of the looks. I could just see myself like I just hate myself. I was like looking down at myself and going, "I fucking hate you. Like I hate you as a human. You're such a piece of shit." And I was still playing games, and that was my escape. Like games didn't make me worse. I loved it. Came home and I could just be myself, and no one knew how fat I was or how much I hated myself. But then as soon as I stopped gaming, I was like, fuck, you're such a loser. Like, like I was really self-deprecating on myself. And then I just started, and then just, it's funny, I joined a gym with two other mates and they just didn't go out of nowhere. They just never went. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to go, and started going, and just sort of fell in love with it. After this like first 3 or 4 weeks, you start to see a bit of progress, and it's just like, sweet, like you can see legitimate goals and just keep going. So yeah, and then just always did flooring since I was like 18, like onwards. So I did the cooking and chef at night, and the PT was at night as well. So sort of I had like sort of two stuff always going on. Like now I've always got 2 or 3 things going on at once.
I understand, man. And I want to jump back to when you were saying that you kind of hate yourself when you were a bigger fella. Was there anyone that like helped you through that process? Like, I know that you said, like, you're saying that you hated yourself. I personally have never kind of felt like that. I've always kept fit, always been in a good headspace and stuff. But I know that it's very important to be able to speak out to people and have the balls to step up and do that. How important was it for you to even reach out to someone or get yourself in better shape, or how did you identify and how did you identify that becoming a little bit fitter would be the resolution?
Like no one at all reached out to me or helped me or saw anything. A lot of my friends were on the gaming side. Like, so I feel like 3 groups of friends. I've got my golf club friends, like when I used to play golf, who are probably like my closest. Then I've got some gaming friends who I used to just play games with, who I've known sort of since high school. And then I've got like a WOG friends. I got some sort of WOG friends that we catch out, we play basketball together, all that sort of stuff.
Basketball? It's a WOG sport. Soccer, bro.
And then, so then I just was in the gaming space, and they were going to an internet cafe and playing video games, and they were all sort of overweight as well. So they were sort of in that space as well, sort of not eating too healthy, playing video games. That's sort of like why, in the future, I like sort of trying to change the stigma of gaming to more healthy. yeah, no one really reached out to me. It was just more like I guess an epiphany. It obviously started out with like, man, I want a girlfriend, like I want a partner, I want some sort of connection. I was like, and obviously everyone has their sort of standards or their type or what they look for, and I'm like, I knew deep down that obviously some people can achieve that, but me, it was a mental thing, and there's no way I could ever approach a girl who looked a certain way if I wasn't at a certain weight myself.
Yep.
So I was there, and I needed that confidence. So it was lose weight, and then literally as soon as I lost my weight, like my confidence just completely changed. Like it was way more outgoing. I worked harder, way more confident, but not. I personally, I mean, who knows what other people might have thought of me, but I was self-aware in a way, but I did try hard to never be ego about it. It was more like I was promoting it and saying, this is awesome. It's so good, man. I've got so much confidence. I'm talking to all these girls. It's sick. Like, it's not like I'm talking to these girls and they're all coming to me, but I'm actually just able to talk to them in the first place. Where before I was like, fuck that. I'm not going near that. She'll rip my head off, or like she'll spit me out and throw me over the balcony. Like, you know, obviously it probably wouldn't have gone down that way. She could have been a lovely girl and maybe she would have liked me, but it's a mental confidence thing, and I had to do it. And yeah, and then once I lost that, I started I actually helped a few of my gaming friends get into fitness themselves and start their journey as well. Like show them, you know, like it's not that hard. Like you can fall in love with it, and their confidence changed as well. Like it was a mental battle. It was some dark spaces for a little bit, especially in high school when I was bullied. And like literally my nickname from I think you're probably year 9 to 10 and maybe start of 11, like literally my nickname was fat shit.
Fat shit.
Yeah, just literally. It's just like, oh, fat shit.
That was
That's
literally like an
literally what it was.
insult, bro. Like, shut the fuck up, fat shit.
I know.
Like, your actual nickname was fat,
Yeah,
fat shit.
yeah, it was heaps bad. So like it was so depressing.
Yeah.
Like I was just, and the only way to survive was that I had to turn. I was just trying to play that role of the fat funny guy. So I got to still be in the, as much as I don't, it's not the right way to do it, but it's just what I did in the time. I wanted to stay in the popular group.
Yeah.
So I was always in the popular group, but not because it's popular, because they liked me around because I was the fat funny kid.
Yeah.
I never took part in bullying. I stayed off to the side, but sometimes they would still maybe bully off to the side and stuff because I wanted to survive. I didn't want to go into that other side I didn't want to be in the group where the kids are getting bullied at the time, because I knew I would get into the deepest hole I'd probably never come out, and it could go real bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, survival mode, be the fat funny kid. Then year 12, it got better because I had the growth spurt. So then they couldn't call me fat shit anymore because I just got skinny out of nowhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So then they just ended up calling me Big Vass. That was my nickname, Big Vass.
Skinny shit.
Yeah, skinny shit. And Anno shit.
Twig.
But yeah,
Sticks.
so it was just about survival. And then after high school, yeah, it was just, yeah, then just got fat again.
Yeah.
After eating all the food. So yeah, man, like hating yourself is not a fun thing. You can always, and it's hard, like family and stuff doesn't really help, because unless they see you mentally struggling, which I don't know, it's probably a typical male thing, but with me, I'm really good at bottling in a lot of my feelings and hiding them. You know, we'll really know if I'm going for a bad time or not.
Yeah.
Your mum, especially like my mum, like she'll always love you and always think you look great and you're healthy and you're handsome no matter what. I could be 120 kilos, 130, 150. She's like, oh, you're so handsome, you're beautiful, you're lovely, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like, but I know, mum, like I know you're my mum, you're the same, but I am genuinely overweight, I'm unhealthy, I'm fat, and I hate myself. But I would never say that to her, because I've said sometimes in the past to her, like, now I've gone, mum, I was so fat back then. And she goes, no, you weren't, you were beautiful. I'm just like,
Mum,
no,
let go, Mum. Let go.
Just let it go. Like
it's
it's
in the
okay
past.
to say, yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
not gonna. But that's a mum, though, man, and that's what you fucking love about mums. Like they just always. It's your mum. It's easy. It's hard to explain, man. Like everyone has a mum. Whether now it comes down to if they're present in their life or not. But like it's you've got that person there that is just always positively reassuring. I know that. Look, with my parents, I know that I had. Like I wasn't chubby. I was slowly getting towards It wasn't really that big, but I started becoming like addicted to exercise and all that type of shit anyway. So
Yep.
and running around and all that type of stuff. But I was like, oh mum, I think that I'm going to start trending up a little bit because I'm not. And she's like, yeah, I think you should. Like, it's that reassurance. But I don't think that they would ever come out and say, you're fat as fuck, you need to lose weight. No one's going to come out. Like my parents, like I'm very see it and say it, and I'm very happy to not beat around the bush and to say, you got to fix this or fuck off. Like that's just how I am, bro. I'm real happy with that feedback because I don't like beating around the bush. Simple as that. But nowadays, that type of mentality isn't really accepted. It's very beat around the bush.
Keep doing it. I do it now. I 100% agree with that mentality. And you even look at the podcast I just did with Michael. Like older dude, OG esports runner. He seems like a no bullshit guy. I agree with that mentality. I even do it now when some people are like, oh, woe is me, this and that. I'm like, no, kick your ass. It's on you. Like no one's going to help you, like you got to kick your own ass into gear and get yourself out of this hole. Like, you can only help those who want to help themselves. And I'll help people to a certain amount of time and baby them maybe once. But after that, I'm not going to, waste my time to try to help you. I'll start to give you the hard pill and be like, get your ass out of it. It's time to move. Come on, you can do it. It's not hard. You just need to do it. You just need to start. So I don't think you should ever. I know obviously there's certain things you've got to be safe about what you say, but I think if you know your audience, I think you can still give them that no bullshit mentality. And I don't ever want to see that go away from anyone.
Yeah.
Well,
it's more than
I rate that.
Working in an office space, they were all about that bullshit. All of it. They don't want you to say why their thing's not good. They want you to say, yeah, it's good. It's fucking good. It's really good, but you can just tinker up these things here, okay? And you're just like, oh my fucking God. No, it's not good. It fucking sucks, but this is what we can do to fix it, okay? Let's sit down together. Let's brainstorm these things and really hit these KPIs and then move forward.
It's like the old school compliment sandwich, man.
No one can take that. No one can take that. They would rather hear, yeah, that's really good, but when they hear the but, like to me, the but is forget everything that I fucking said. This is the truth, and that is what the truth is. But they love to hear that's really good. The false reassurance. See, for me, if someone says to me that they're struggling to get into the gym or they have a headache or something like that, I'll be like, okay, struggling to get in the gym. I don't want to fucking hear about you being really upset about yourself until you actually go to the gym. Because that's on you. I can't do anything about that. You can come with me. Do you want to come with? No, I'm busy. I'm sleeping. I'm doing this. Okay, no worries. Oh, I got a headache. Okay, we'll take a Nurofen. No, I don't believe in taking tablets. Well, then don't fucking complain about it because I don't want to hear about it. Don't. If you're the only reason you should be able to complain, the only right you should be able to have a complaint is that, this is my personal belief, is that if you're doing everything you can in your power to help yourself and that is not working, then absolutely complain. I understand the hardship in between that and say, this is really hard. That's a different type of complaint. That's just venting. But getting to the action and helping yourself first, and then you can vent about how difficult it is. I love that. That's great because you're doing it. But complaining 100%. About how difficult things are, or if you're in a shit space right now and not doing anything to help yourself, you've got to get up and you've got to do something. Even if it's just going and seeing a psychologist or something like that, or talking to someone, that's moving in the right direction. And I may be a hard ass saying that, and some people may be jumping up and down in the YouTube comments where you can comment on the podcasts at youtube.com/GFreak. But I think that if we adopt that mentality a bit, then we're going to start being doers. At the moment, we're a lot of talkers and we're not doers. So becoming a doer and fucking standing 100%. Behind what you have to say and acting on it, it goes back to the old saying, actions speak louder than words, man. And I think that people just have to adapt that mentality a bit, and kind of, we are soft. We're very soft. Yeah. We're gardeners in a fucking war. And we've really got to harden up a little bit, and not saying that you've got to be so hard to the point that you can't tell people how you're feeling. It's more about, let's act on what we have to say. Let's act on those feelings, how we're feeling. Let's do something. Let's get up there together as a team, and let's really drive and motivate others and spread that love and spread that positivity. There's so much negativity right now, man. Everyone gets in a fucking hole. Everyone's comparing each other. Everyone's just in a shit spot. There's so much depression. Psychologists are needed right now because there's so many people with mental health issues. Bro, there's so many things that we can do together as a community, and everyone's just too busy just beating each other up and cracking the shit to someone else for losing weight. How dare you leave our group?
It's like I always have such a thing, and even in business and stuff, it's just like, look, you do you and I'll do me. Like, I don't care whatever you do as long as it doesn't affect me or my friends or family. Do what you want to do. Eat what you want to eat. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do. But as soon as it like affects me or my family or friends, I honestly, I just don't care. Like, I just want to, just, I don't know, just to do my own thing and just let me do it. If I'm not hurting you, then why are you talking about it or coming at me for it or whatever? Like, just, like, I think it's just there's a lot of low key keyboard warrior jealousy out there, and it's extremely frustrating and saddening, and it really holds a lot of people back, and it holds a lot of brands back, and it holds OC back, especially in the esports space. So
I know, man.
there is like a little bit of a trend coming through. But going back to your quick thing about how you said how you were like waiting, like you got people who want to come to the gym with you and they make an excuse that they can't got a headache. I hate that shit. I give people 2 passes. And if they bail on me twice, done. I'll never ask them to gym again. I once burnt a friend too because he bailed on me 3 times. On the 3rd time, I teed off on him and said, "This is fucking bullshit." He's blah blah. My girlfriend broke up. I'm like, I don't give a shit, man.
It's more fucking reason to be in the gym, motherfucker.
You didn't even message me. That's the thing. Like, okay, yeah, if you told me the night before I just broke up with my girlfriend, bro, I feel like shit, cool. But I'm fucking at the gym and I'm already warming up 10 minutes in, and you go, and this is it's like a 5 a.m. session, and I fucking hate mornings, but I'll do mornings if it's with someone.
Yep.
And he just didn't show. I'm like, where are you? And then he didn't respond to me until like 12 o'clock at lunchtime, and I'm like, I'm teeing off on you. I don't give a shit. Like girlfriends come and go, but mates don't, mate. And you just burnt me really bad. Like, for the 3rd time, I'm done. Like, so yeah, man, I hate that shit. Show up to gym. It's definitely, you get more benefit out of it than you would if you didn't go.
Yeah, or even just showing up with a mate for lunch or whatever. Like with us this morning, like we were, even yesterday, like we were transparent about what's going on, and all that type of stuff. But then this morning, I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like. Usually Sunday I don't really do a podcast in early morning, so I do it in the afternoon or whatever, which is fine. But I'm being transparent with you. I'm like, okay, I'm this many minutes away, so you do what you fucking want until then, or whatever. And apologies again for the delay when it came to that. But look, it's one of those things, man. But I want to change the topic a little bit. Okay, Call of Duty League's coming up. I'm fucking pumped. It's next weekend, bro. Who you supporting? Who do you go for? Who do you go for, actually? I don't think I've asked you, hey.
I go for EXO Clan. No,
shut the fuck up, bro.
EXO Clan or nothing. Nah, I think I actually go for 100 Thieves.
Okay.
Only because there's a few things. I rate the name straight up. I love the branding. And I just think they're a great organization where they've come from. Like, what he's been able to do has just been awesome. So I don't really follow their players that close, but if I'm gonna pick a team, like, everyone goes Optic. Everyone's about the green wall, fuck Optic, fuck the green wall. Like, they're great. Hey. Look, they are my second favorite. 100% are my second favorite.
Damn, you put an extra third.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, 100 Thieves to go for. I love especially now that it's Modern Warfare. I'm pretty excited. Vanguard was just like shit, like fuck that shit. But I'm pretty excited for this season.
I'm so pumped, man. Look, there's a lot of unpopular opinions about this game, and I agree with a lot of them. Let's start with the multiplayer. The multiplayer, the perks. What the fuck's going on there? The guns, the sprinting, the slowness of the adding attachments to your gun. Like, it's never before has a game just made you shitter for putting more attachments on your gun. Normally, like, look back at the original Modern Warfare 2019. Bro, that game had bling, a perk for extra attachments. So you can put extra shit on your gun. So you can put the fart beat sensor on with a suppressor on the ACR. You know what I mean? Like, it's just absolutely nuts. But nowadays, like, 5 attachments. Oh, geez. Okay, you're fucked. Like that thing's an
Yeah.
absolute slug.
I run 2 on my AR. I just run 2 attachments.
Yeah, just 2 attachments. You probably run like a
Yeah.
muzzle and a grip, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Multiplayer. It took a bit to get used to, but you've got to kind of play it like CS:GO. So you got to walk corners and predict and have your crosshair where people's heads or upper chest is going to be. And then when it comes to Warzone, look, the only thing I would say is that remove bomb drones or nerf the fuck out of them because they are way too, way too.
Yeah, very
OP,
frustrating.
man.
They should be easier to shoot down too. They're just like
they're really strong. Like a recon drone is easy to shoot down compared to a bomb drone. It has a piece of C4 on the top of it. Why is it not a one bullet? Why?
Yeah.
Just
make it easier to kill, and then if it's easier to kill, make it so if you shoot it, the explosion's bigger. So like there's like that risk reward. It's like, oh, okay, I can kill it quickly, but I've got to be in the right position to kill it, or I could end up just knocking myself.
You can't even outrun it, bro. Like it genuinely catches up to you. It's fucked.
You just hear this.
You can hear this.
Like, fuck! Coming through windows and then
stairs. Next minute you can smash. I think you can smash windows with it. You can't open doors with it, but it's just like the old recon drone.
It should be. They should get rid of the recon drone and just change it to a remote control car, because then there's some limitations and it makes it more like you got to ride up the stairs and look around.
Yeah,
But I guess it's good. Like the purpose of it obviously is to try and to seek out campers and get them out of high buildings and shit like that. But it is way too strong. Like it fucks people up.
Yeah, it's an immediate. Like I got a 3-piece wipe with it one game. 2 days ago, and I'm like, dude, this is just ridiculous. I was playing with one of my buddies last night, and there was one, and we had a rooftop, and I'm like, oh, and it was coming up on us. It was definitely going to kill us. Like it was right next to us, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck away from me. Just split up, so I'll just revive you, whatever.
Yeah.
And he runs towards me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like I was so mad, bro. I was so mad.
Like when someone gets a Semtex stuck to them, they're running towards you.
They're running. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god! Honestly, man, have a fucking brain. Anyway, that aside, Warzone's good. Currently right now, I am looking for a duo. I'm looking for someone with a 3.5 to 4 KD. I'm not looking for anyone higher than me. I'm literally a 3.67 KD. So from the previous Warzone, I reckon this one I can crank it up a little bit higher, because it suits my blackout playstyle more so. And once I dial it in more, I'll be better. But yeah, so this week and next week is going to be finding LF duo. But what are your thoughts about it, man? What are your thoughts about Warzone 2? And actually, I came across you, bro. I came across you and your team. We were in a building and I saw ACETHEMGAMING, and I fucking got you with a precision airstrike.
Well, dog, fucking, you know what? That's another thing I hate about Warzone. I find self-revives and like UAVs and precisions and all that are way too readily available. Like, because you can get the UAV from the buy stations, but then also you can buy other shit. But then like all the precisions, like they're just going off all the time. Like I find it really frustrating to deal with. I feel like less and less gunplay, and it's more about your positioning and using like your, I guess you call them like abilities, but UAVs and your precisions and your cluster strikes. I'm so over that shit. Like I just want to fight. I just want to shoot. Like come at me. Like, so I don't like how readily available that stuff is out of crates. But I do like the loot system way better. I like that it's not all about just having this god tier pre-loadout. A little bit of RNG, but still like there's so much fucking loot, so you shouldn't have an issue of finding a gun you want. The map's pretty good. Time to kill still pretty fucking quick, but I like the flow. Yeah. I loved Blackout as a battle royale, so I like it. I like this a lot more than Warzone 1. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I do want to be able to plate while sprinting. That tilts me. It's so annoying that I just have to like walk slowly while I'm plating. Like fuck me. Like because when you got no plates, you're like one shot pretty much. So it's like give me something to get away.
To jump in here, right? EXO Clan plays in Apex Legends, and I'm sure you watch a lot of that. How do they plate up?
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Think
they walk slow. They put on a battery. Yeah. It takes longer.
I think it comes down to, I guess it also comes down a lot to who you're playing with. So like if I'm playing with my boys, we're pretty good in the fact, well, I'm plating up, so then we'll get into a defensive position. So then they'll like watch both sides and protect me. Because it's obviously easier to defend as someone who's plating than if someone's down and then you got to revive them. Then you've only got one person defending.
Yep.
So I see that in Apex a lot. When someone's batting, they'll usually do it in a pretty good position.
Yep.
But also in Apex too, even when you have no bats, your time to kill is still higher than, having no shields in Warzone.
I know.
So
That's the other thing.
it's good. The multiplayer side, the only mode that I love is S&D. Like I love S&D. Like I love strategic play styles. I love the strategy behind S&D, and I love the pressure of one life. But I do like my Dom just running around, fucking around and stuff. But the attachment thing I do find is weird, and I hate the leveling system of attachments. Like if I should be able to level a gun and just have it at like a level 50 so I can get all the attachments. I don't want to have to go level another gun to get the attachment for this gun. Like that makes me so fucking angry.
I know.
And I can't be bothered because I don't have the time to do that. No. I just want to play the game. And it's like, well, now you're stopping me from getting that attachment. So I have to use a gun that I don't like, and I have little time to play. So then I'm not enjoying my playtime.
Yep.
So that's what annoys me too. So then if anything, they're forcing me to fucking buy stuff off the store so I can have that attachment or have that gun or use that thing. It's like, fuck you.
That's how they do it, bro. $1 billion in 10 days. You know that? $1 billion fucking dollars in 10 days. Hey, if there's one thing that you could change about Warzone, add or remove, what would it be?
Shit.
1. Add or remove, or buff or nerf.
Man, I find that pretty hard to be honest. I'd probably remove like cluster strikes and all that from general loot. Okay. UAVs and cluster. I'd say you'd have to buy them. I feel
remove all kill streaks.
Yeah, I'd say they can be at the buy station. They can be at the buy station and how there's like limited amount, which I like. You can't just spam buy them for your mates. So then it forces you to go out and get money to go to that station to risk being in the open to buy them and spread them out between one person might have UAV, one gets a cluster, one gets a precision, rather than just be dropping out of boxes. You pick one and then you can maybe go buy another one if you run out. I think it'll force people to move more. If they really want it, they got to go for it rather than just like getting it. Like, that's probably the only thing I move. Everything else I generally like. I don't know too much details about which gun's this or which gun's good or the meta stuff like that. But like, just what frustrates you more is just having that shit popping off all the time. And it's like, I'm over it. I hate having quickly run inside, then come back out. Oh no, quickly run inside. And then sometimes for some reason I'm inside, but the airstrike still kills me. Like, fuck you. Like, so yeah.
One thing that I would add, one thing I would do, I would buff. I would purely buff time to kill. That's it. That would fix fucking everything in the game.
Do you think not by adding it, but like the amount would be like one plate worth of health?
I would buff to the degree that there would be a extra plate between those 3 plates. So add 33.33% to each of those 3 plates. And I would buff the no plate HP as well. Because so streaks you won't be downing as fast, or there's a little bit of extra leeway. Bomb drones, you won't go down straight away. You'll take the hit and you'll be one shot. Absolute, like just a wither of a one shot. You can, if you run into a building and you clear out a building, you still have a bit of a fighting chance for actually making a play. So it doesn't really affect you too deeply and punish you for actually trying to kind of push, whilst it still gives the other people the advantage because they're already ADSing, and we know how long that takes in this game to do. They still have the advantage, but you have a bit of a chance. So then players that are more timid, they actually have a chance to be like, okay, you know what? I have a bit of confidence to actually push inside this building and contest for it. So it kind of builds confidence there as well, but within the community itself. And then it just helps you be able to rotate around the map as well. So when you're climbing mountains, when you're rotating in no man's land between buildings and stuff, it's very exposed and there's not much you can do and you can't outmaneuver anywhere. So having a slightly higher time to kill with that extra 33.33% to plates and base HP would be a huge increase and help to improving the gameplay for sure.
Yeah, especially because even when you're in like a vehicle, you're still like, unless you're in that armored car, you're getting shredded still through the vehicle. So it still feels like even then, there's still no hope. Even if you're in no man's land driving a vehicle and stuff, you're still getting like shat on if people are hitting the shots. So because there is so much open space, I agree a little bit more time to kill would be handy. But I think if they added a time to kill, then I think you need to change one thing, which would be like, even if you're at, maybe not for 3 plates, like when it's purple, but I can't remember, or maybe it is 3 plates purple. But I think if you get a good sniper with the attachments and you get a headshot, it should be a down no matter what.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. It's like, I should get rewarded for hitting my shot on this little pea head. But
I know.
It's just, that's the only thing I hate, because I got him in the head and then I got to flick out my gun, but he's already just gone crouched and prone. It's just like, but like if they're downed on a building, incentivizes me to want to push that because I got to get to him before he revives or gets revived. So that builds excitement. But if I've just cracked him, it's just like, great. I crack him, he replates. I crack him, he replates. It's like, like this is so boring.
Oh, it's shocking, mate. It's shocking.
That's why there's the cluster strike or the air strikes.
Yeah, the Prez that I got you with, bro. Actually, I do remember that gunfight. And it was a few days ago, and you were playing quads. And we actually third partied. You guys were fighting another team in a long rectangle building next to the water's edge.
That was the I played with the R6 team, our Rainbow Six Siege team.
Okay, well there we go. I think I did see someone's name did have an R6 in it.
Yeah.
Is that out of curiosity? So that could have been it. But yeah, it was near a petrol station. It was right next to the water's edge, and I'm gonna
stream snipe you so hard next time.
Come for me, baby. Come for me, baby. Woo! Can't wait. But it's a game that I'm so passionate about, and I just want it to work, and it just sometimes it frustrates me. Right? I know it frustrates me, man. It shits me, and I think that the game that we see today is not going to be the game that we see in a year's time. It's going to be completely different. It's going to be remapped. These maps that we're playing on now won't exist. They won't be in the playlist. They'll be gone. We'd be playing on something completely different. The guns will be completely different. There'll be a ton of new guns in the game, because that's what will come in year 2. They will just revamp all the guns. One thing that I really do wish that they did was that they've made all these map names fucking not iconic names. They're not memorable. They're very and nothing against where their origin of creativity, but they seem very like South American based and like.
I think they're trying to stick to some sort of weird storyline, but I don't think anyone really cares about
like
the Warzone
Al
storyline.
Mazrah. I barely remember that. Like and even some of the maps that we actually know, like they're called something different, and it's just like it's just really confusing. Like I want to have
man.
I want to have an iconic gun from Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
The second one, reiteration, that I can remember, and then I'm like, wow, this gun, I want to build memories with this gun, and that's called something as simple as the ACR or the M4. Now it's something completely different.
Well, why can't they just call it the AK-47? Why does it have the Kastov?
Like the Kastov. What the fuck is that?
Why can't they just call it the? I know there must be some sort of legal reason or something, but it's just like because everyone wants a buck for everything.
No one owns the AK-47.
Someone owns the rights to the name of the AK-47. Probably Russia or something. So they're like,
no way.
Well, look at everything. Like, I bet there's like the Fennec is meant to be like the Vector for like. It's called the Fennec, but I think don't PUBG call it the Vector? I don't know. It's just weird. Like they have to name all these things slightly different. Like we know the Scar is the Scar. Like
it's not the TARC Q or some shit.
Yeah. It's just the TAC 47. It's just like why? Like just give me the iconic name so I can be like, I want that because it's the AK-47, and like I want the iconic like the old school Modern Warfare gold AK. Like it just shat on everyone. It was the gun to get, and everyone used it, but. Look, I think they do what they can, and they have to work around what the world has, restricts them to doing now. And I think also like with all these different things that they're adding to the game, they're trying to make it seem like they're evolving the game. Because we go, oh, why can't it just be like the original Modern Warfare? But then people will be like, oh, but where's the content? Or it's no different to this game. So they have to try and, I guess, evolve the game. Because it's easy to love the old Modern Warfares of nostalgia because a lot of us didn't have any jobs and we just sat at home with our mates playing video games, and that's always going to be fun. And memories are always going to sound fun. But we probably don't remember the bugs or the shit that went on or the brokenness or the stuff that was overpowered. Like the gold AK back in the old Modern Warfare, the best gun in the game, was broken. No one, if you didn't use it, you're stupid. But now, like, I don't know what the fuck the meta is at the moment. Like the CAS stuff's pretty good, but I'm sure there's heaps of other guns. Like the Vector destroys in Warzone. It's the best, but like it is what it is. Like everyone's got to adapt to people wanting more and more and more and more content. And this game has delivered a shitload of content. Like
yeah, they've done
it's got a lot of content. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of issues. But there's a lot of shit for everyone to love. And one thing I was going to say, when you said one thing you could add or take away from Warzone, only because I don't think it's ever going to come out, I would love for them to have a rank system like Apex in Warzone. I just want to have rank in it. I think just having straight up pubs. If you're going to have rank in like your normal like multiplayer, just have it in have it in Warzone. Have a rank play. I think that'd be cool.
So exciting, bro.
People, like it'd be so good.
Instead of just money twos, it's just like it's just ranked. It's just
it'd be sick.
Different color. Like they've got it. This is the thing, man. Like they're very focused. It's an FPS game, so they're focused on what the gun looks like. And I guess there's third person. Have you played the third person Warzone mode? Is it any good?
I hate it. I played it multiplayer, and I played it Warzone. You're right. I played in Warzone by accident, and I hated it. I hated it.
It felt weird.
Yeah, it felt so weird. Like I would like it more if it didn't go from third person to first person to shoot. I'd love it to just stay third person forever, like PUBG. Well, like PUBG used to be, the old school, where it just stayed third person when you shoot.
It did stay. What about when you use a sniper for PUBG? Third person.
I can't remember. I think it did zoom for the sniper. It did, but on just your general scopes, like even you had a red dot, it wouldn't go all the way in, like the very original PUBG. I don't like the transition. So. It's very aggressive.
It's snappy. It's too snappy.
It's just too full on. And also, COD movement, even in this, it's not as fast as it used to be. But like for third person in COD, it's like crazy. People are jumping around the corners. It's very jarring. Like
it's
very. And I just don't like peeking around corners with the camera angles.
It's very right hand dominant. Like it's very. Yeah. If you're peeking right side, because like everyone in the game is right handed, so we all know how you sit right handed. Left side of the body is very exposed, very heavy. Right side.
You can shift it though. You can swap your sides. Yeah. I think if you press shift, I forget which one it is. Shift that it actually swaps the sides.
Really?
So you have people. Yeah, you can swap your angle, your camera angle, on which shoulder you want to be on.
In third person or first person or both?
No, third person. Third person.
Okay. Yeah. And does your gun change?
I can't remember if the gun changes. I'm pretty sure it does, or it could just be the camera angle. But I mean, can't you in settings anyway just change your gun?
Are you on controller or keyboard and mouse?
Keyboard and mouse.
I wonder how that works for controller if you're changing your left and right shoulder.
But say if you're like left-handed, then obviously people can have their gun on left anyway in first person. So I'd say if you like left, but then I don't think your gun changes. It's just your shoulder angle because it helps you be able to peek corners.
Yeah.
So you still obviously have to expose yourself more on certain sides if you're right-handed or left-handed. But you can swatch the camera side, which is also jarring because like I'll be like accidentally swapping and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be on that side. So I don't like it just because of the jarringness, and I don't like the whole like peeking around corners. Someone can see me, especially if you don't play it a lot. You don't really sometimes mentally just use that to your advantage. You're just sort of still playing sort of straight and narrow. But then the people who just love that shit are just always like turning their camera just to look around the corner.
That's how I am in multiplayer. Like it's fucking bad. So you know how we have like a square minimap?
Yeah.
I would turn my character sideways to really stretch the minimap. So you turn it and you get that extra length on the minimap when there's a UAV up and shit. That's literally how I play. So maybe I should try third person. I've kind of overlooked it because I'm not familiar with it. Like I think I would be comfortable with it, but I'm just not. I don't know. I feel like it's interesting. It's interesting.
Have you ever been so engrossed in the game where like say you're leaning in the game or something and you'll actually lean in real life?
Yeah. See, like
nothing's changing.
This is the thing, right? So I have like a tight neck. Like my left side's really tight compared to like my right. I can do this, but my left, like I can't. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
But my right's very. It's. You know what I mean? So I will find myself if I look back at my gameplay. If I'm in a tight situation, someone's behind me, and I'll automatically kind of do that. My right side will just free up. It'll loosen up, and it will just my neck will fall right. I've been trying to pull my head back and stretch that for years. Like I just don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know how to fix that. But yeah, I do find that I do move that. But I know that when I used to play when I was younger with like my neighbor, for example, we used to play like Mario Kart or WWE or whatever. Mario Kart got very, you definitely move because you've got a wheel and you jump and you're like, ah! But then when it comes to like WWE, when we used to play, he would always like be up and all that type of stuff and moving and like leaning and all that type of stuff. It was very, I can't play leaning forward. I have to sit up and play sitting back like straight. That's just how I dial in. I can't like leaning in I do a little bit here, but it's pretty much straight back.
I'm just like this.
Yeah. How about yourself, man? Like, do you play leaning back or sit back or forward or how do you play?
Depends. When I'm really zoned in, I'll be like this playing. But when I'm just sort of like chilling, I'll probably be a bit like this and just like fuck around. But most of the time, I'm probably like usually in, especially with Warzone and stuff. Multiplayer, I'll sit back because I'm like, don't really care about Warzone. Especially when I'm with mates, I want to do well for them usually because I don't want to let them down. So I'll be like, come on, let's smoke this loser. Come on.
How hard is it to hold back, like being aggressive, a bit aggressive, like when you're playing with mates?
Yeah, man. You say
like,
some fucked up shit, and
when you go down, you're just like, nah, this is fucking bad. Like when you go down, and you're like, just fucking res me, just res me, just.
And then there's the old like, it's 2 a.m. One more. Well, it's like 2 a.m. We can't finish on that one. And then like and then you win. You're like, oh, that was pretty good. Let's go for one more.
I know. Actually, I put out a TikTok. I think I got one coming up on my Instagram because I put my TikToks I put up first, and 7 days later I put it up on my Instagram because TikTok has the filters and Instagram Reels don't. Anyway, and I did one pretty much exactly like that. Like, I'm going to head off now. It's 10 o'clock. And then the boys say, well, we can't finish on that. And then you're playing till 2 a.m. the next morning. It's so relatable. Like it always happens. It's fucking bad.
That's what happened last night, man. I got trapped. into a loop of playing over and over again to get that last win. Didn't get it.
Never got it.
Finish it like second.
It was totally not fucking worth it. Okay. Totally not. Am I fucking? Are you in Melbourne?
Adelaide.
Adelaide, dude. My fucking lips are so dry, man. It's bad. Are you copping this dryness or what?
No, man.
It's bad, bro. Like I'm having to lather the shit out of my lips for these past few days. It's like hay fever or spring or I don't know what it is, brother. But it's doing my head in. Okay, it's no good. But back to our Call of Duty talk. If anyone in the comments on YouTube wants to add to that, what would you add, ban, remove, or buff, or nerf in the game itself? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say as well. Or jump in the Discord and let us know your thoughts. But man, tell me a bit about your podcast as well. How's that going, bro? How many episodes are you in? Like five or six?
5 now.
There we go.
5. Yeah. The 5th one just got uploaded to YouTube. So no, it's good fun because I can really like pick people's brains, and we obviously give them a general list of questions we're going to ask. But then there's a couple like curveballs to try to throw in, and I'm trying to push in some quick fire questions now because it's quite good. So we've had a couple of cool guests on. Got another one tonight where I'm gonna have Exodus on.
Yep.
And then next week I think we're gonna have Luron, our Quake Pro player.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's good fun, and like sometimes it's tough because obviously you're the production team and the editor and all that all at the same time, and you're checking the audio level. And it's obviously sometimes tough too because we do it live as well. So then it's like managing, issues that are going on live, which is sometimes quite fun. So the first few episodes we had a couple of little hiccups, but then now we're pretty much have it all set in stone. So no, it's good, and we've got some other guests involved, but just trying to have like a platform, I guess, for the fans to come on and they can ask questions as well, and they can ask them live and all that sort of stuff, and they can learn a bit more about the org because usually during the podcast we'll talk about the org and what's going on and ask people questions about their thoughts about EXO and all that. So yeah, no, it's quite fun. And then it could go somewhere, but it's just I guess it's a good way for us to help keep pushing out content onto our YouTube and obviously building up our Twitch as well because we want to do some things in the future with that. So no, it's really good. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh yeah, man, it is good fun. You expose yourself to people that are different. when it comes from different games, different personalities. But a big focus is always, like, as you'll find, you really want to focus on getting someone that kind of wants to expand on when you ask a question. If they just answer the question and that's it, or they don't ask it back, and it makes it for a difficult podcast. And it's not really an enjoyable one to listen to either. So you've got to kind of strategically find the people that want to that you would think that are fit, and then also get them to execute it. So get time for them to come on and all that type of stuff. But how do you find it, being in a duo podcast compared to, like, I guess you haven't really hosted one by yourself, but how are you finding it in a duo?
It's good because then it allows, because man, like even like the other week, like with Michael, I think we went for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, fuck.
Podcast went for. So I guess a duo in that aspect is good because, I can have a breather, have a break, and, I'll be messaging him during it saying, what do you want to ask next? So I don't like overstep and stuff like that. So we have a general questions, but then some people will go off track. So I'll be like, all right, you take the next one, or like, I'll take this one, or because I'm quite a talkative person, I can go on for a lot longer. So then I got to sort of almost check myself and say, all right, cool, I've spoken enough, and then I'll tell my duo, hey man, you can take the next one, you take the next couple and just go on. But then the only other hard thing is, and I think that's general with all like sort of online chatting, is that it's hard to read when to come in or when the person's done or who's going to ask the next question in a way. So that's why I got to keep liaising with him, because like I can go to ask someone and then he might want to ask for something, and then you have that little one, like, you go, oh no, you go, no, you got it, man, it's all good, you go. So I think that's the only hard thing with the trio, is knowing who's going to go next or when we're going to go in, because I want to try and make it smooth and natural as possible, almost feeling like we were actually there in a way. But like we've still got a long way to go, and there's a lot of things we want to learn and do with it. So, but I like it, because he's got a different personality to me, and he has different questions, and he's at a different stage in his life and in his sports. So he can sort of ask from his perspective, and I can ask from my perspective. So
I think that he asks some good questions when it comes from. He doesn't really. He's not as knowledgeable as you are in esports, but he still understands it. But he understands it from a way that is good, because the audience that may be of the same level as him, he will understand. He will ask the questions that they are probably thinking to ask, which works quite well. And you will ask more the nitty gritty type of questions and more specifics and whatnot. So it is interesting. But I'm sure that you probably listen to like Hamish and Andy. They're an iconic duo, and you see how they work, but they are in person. So when they talk to it, and it's also just talking to them to it as well, plus Jack, who's their actual third.
Well, Trips lives in Adelaide, so we would like to, if it got to the point where it was somewhat good, that we, if ever guests are like in Adelaide at some time, we'll try and tee up a podcast and maybe try and do it live, because there's places in Adelaide where you can hire out a studio.
Yep.
Like you just pay like $110 for like a couple of hours, and you get their podcast shoot, and you can do whatever you want live or record it. So that'd be cool. Obviously that's a lot further down the track and trying to make more connections with certain people. But you're right. I like that having that perspective from someone who's more, I guess, that fan knowledge rather than that like internal org knowledge, even though he's in the org. But like, I think I've just been in the space more and been doing, more stuff. So I have a bit more knowledge. I think is good, and because we're pretty good mates and like we hang out a bit, we just sort of flow pretty well.
Would you be able to do a podcast with him? He lives regional, doesn't he? He lives a bit away from you.
Yeah, I think he lives like maybe an hour or so away from me.
Okay, so yeah, doing that like 2 hours a week driving just for him, like to come over to your place and just sit in a room together then ask from the same camera perspective. That would be pretty good.
It would be cool if we did it on a desk and stuff, and had like a sort of like how you have like Courage and all that stuff, how they have their podcast and all that. But it's at the moment, I mean, I guess it wouldn't probably it'd make a viewer experience quite cool to see that. But the actual the end result information that you get from it would probably be the same. But that's why, like, if there was like some sort of special guest that was coming into Adelaide for some reason, which is rare because who wants to come to Adelaide? If they were flying in for some reason and they were here,
never been.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey man, do you want to just like, you got a couple hours spare? Let's just do a podcast and fuck it. We'll just hire a podcast room and do it live and make it really cool. And so
Oh yeah, man.
yeah, man.
Hey, is Adelaide very retro type of, like very country type of
Nah,
based? Look, I've
not
never been, so
really.
I'm just asking as an outsider.
It's obviously it's I mean, it's hard if you don't know about it, then you don't know if it's known for this, but it is known for its wine.
Okay.
And it's actually getting pretty up there in the food aspect. It's doing
Okay.
really, really cool things with food. They've got some really good restaurants here. The benefit I find for Adelaide is, it is small, and there might not technically be a lot to do because you obviously have your Melbourne, your Sydney, and all that sort of stuff. But it's so easy. Like, life is so easy here. Like, I like live like sort of Western, and then I'm 5 minutes from the beach. I'm 10 minutes to the city. I'm 15 to the hills. I'm half an hour to the main wine region hubs. 45 minutes to one of the biggest, most famous wine region hubs. Like, it's so easy to get around, and livability is just like real easy. And then you don't have all that other shit. Like, you don't have that really hard. You don't have any weather issues and stuff like that. You're not as big on the global scale where people are talking about you or you got issues or shit like that. Like, it's like I said, it's just very, very easy. And I would never move to Sydney or Melbourne unless I was able to afford living in a city, because I love the city lifestyle. I wouldn't want to live. What I could afford would probably be like an hour and a half so outside the city, and then or 2 hours. I'm like, I don't want to live that far out of Melbourne or Sydney when I moved there for the city. So I'm just like, I'd rather just fly there once every 6 months and have a great time, and then come back and just chill.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough, man. And the city, like living here and going to Sydney and going to Queensland, there's major differences. Queensland's very kickback, and Brisbane as well. So Brisbane is part of Queensland, but going to Broad Beach, Surfers Paradise, and then Burleigh Heads and Brisbane, totally different, man. Totally fucking different.
Yeah.
Like, they're so, compared to Sydney, like Sydney and Melbourne's very fast, very pushy, very honk your horn, very get the fuck out of the way, that type of situation. Sydney is very logistically, I kind of like it. Like, the traffic lights, you don't have to touch them; they just go for the pedestrians.
Yeah.
They've got things on the ground for people to look both ways. Like, I know that's stupid, but for me, as a driver, when I turn a street, if you're driving from behind someone wanting to turn into a street as they're approaching it, walking as a pedestrian, they never look backwards. They only look forwards. Fucking idiots. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. They never look backwards. So they just walk across the road. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, look back if there's any, I was always taught as a kid, and I guess it's not their fault. That's their parents' fault. Yeah. But, full grown ass adults just don't even look backwards. Just twist your neck a little bit, check out what's coming. That's how accidents happen. The arrogance, man. That's how accidents happen. And then that's why speed limit's dropping. Don't even get me started about that shit, because people are fuckwits. But yeah, Sydney and Melbourne are very like that. But then I went to Gold Coast, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking sick, man. Like, I went to a gym that one of my buddies opened up, Alex Glenn, and Legacy Fitness with his friend Jeremy, and it's great. It's like an F45, but their own type of thing. It's fantastic. It's very community driven, very inviting, and I love that. Fucking love it, man. You build a friendship with people. It's a different type of fitness. You're still doing a bit of weights training as well, but you're doing it in like a cardiovascular level.
Getting
so I love I love that. Very expensive, those F45 type of gyms, like $45 a week. It's like, whoo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I'm paying 14 a week, 13 a week, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. But when it comes to, walking along the beach, love that. Walking along the footpaths, morning, those type of old dudes that you see. Like, you'll see little Fluffy, like, walking along there as well. It is quite a good lifestyle. But then I do miss the Melbourne lifestyle, because that's what I've grown up in. And so, like, you kind of want to live there, but at the same time, you're like, well, I want my family there. I want everything else there to then make it comfortable living. And you can't really have those types of things. Yeah. Because it's all, stars have to align perfectly, and it's just, this is not going to happen. But yeah, Adelaide seems like a place that everyone says that, there's not a lot to do there. But from what you're saying, like, it's very close. Everything's close. And like, I think that you could explore and do a lot of things there on a weekend, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And and I think that I should definitely explore that because I want to kind of explore the country a bit more. Because I've only literally been to Sydney and Melbourne, Sydney and Gold Coast and Brisbane. So, yeah, it'd be good to be able to expand my ventures around the country. I think
Yeah, for sure.
WA's one. Have you ever been to WA?
I've been in WA. I've been to everywhere in Australia minus like WA and Tassie.
Okay, yeah, Tas seems pretty cool too. A massive place. Everything seems very segregated there, which I
Yeah.
don't mind that either. You know, leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone, bro. Don't annoy me. Like it's a little island away from the main continent,
Yeah.
and then it's also very spacious because there's not too many people there, and the island's quite large as well. I like that, man. I love
It's
that.
like people in Adelaide who like fuck off to Kangaroo Island. Like they just go there because it's just like, get away. I just want to go hide here in little Kangaroo Island and no one can go near me. I think that's what Taz is. Like people can just fuck off and say, yeah, we'll stay over here. You do your shit and we'll just chill over here. But yeah, give us an
Kangaroo
AFL team.
I think I've been to Kangaroo Island. I'm pretty sure. I've been there. And it's literally oh no, I've been to Dolphin Island or something. No,
Probably Dolphin.
Sorry, that's for the
Kangaroo Islands are like pretty much connected to Adelaide, but not connected at all.
Sorry,
You
I've
catch, like, a
been.
ferry
That,
to
yeah,
go there.
that's okay. I've been to Phillip Island, which looks like a dolphin. I've also been to, which is very different to fucking Kangaroo Island, and then I've also been to French Island. You ever heard of that?
No.
It's literally an island in the middle of like a bay, in Western Port Bay, and it's really big, but barely anyone lives there. There's like one police officer for the whole island, and that's it. No speed limits. Just do what you want around there. That's it. And you can only get there by ferry. It's just like the perfect island, bro. I love it. But also at the same time, it's like 4 hours away from the city, or 2 hours away, 3 hours away from the city. Too far, bro. Too far. But Kangaroo Island. Now I know this might be a stupid question, but is there actually kangaroos on there?
Yes, there's kangaroos. There's emus. There's penguins. There's seals. There's everything. Like, it's not as good now because they've locked it all off, because obviously you have shit people who want to go throw rocks at the penguins and shit when they're just chilling, and seals, like you have idiots.
Really?
But before, when I was a little kid, when I went there, like you could literally go up to right next to them and like pat them and stuff. But you just obviously you get those idiots who want to like just be dumb, and so then it ruins it for everyone else, which is life. One idiot does something wrong and ruins it for everyone else. You know, it's like DMA in pre-workouts. Used to be great. And then one guy decided to mix it with vodka and had a heart attack. Now it's not in pre-workouts.
DMA. Never heard of it.
No, is it DMAA? You know that shit that used to be in pre-workouts that was like, it used to make you absolutely buzz out of your mind.
I wasn't really into pre-workouts. I've done it a couple times. I used to have pre-workout only for legs day. And because I never really drink coffee and caffeine and stuff, now I do drink Red Bulls. Shout out to Red Bull. Thank you very much.
It's DMHA.
Sure it's not D-Bol?
No, mate, D-Bol. Get massive.
Okay. But what about, anyway, so back to the pre-workout. I used to do this pre-workout when I was doing legs day, and I did it. But every time I did my legs day, I would be super pumped, mega pumped. And I'd finish my leg day workout and I would have to sit down for half an hour before I drove my car because I was going to pass out. Because my leg pump was just ridiculous. It was fucked.
I was training legs, man. It's the best.
It's
People
good.
underrate it.
I sometimes can't be fucked though. Like the past month, I just can't be fucked working out. Oh, that's
legs
the
and
thing,
deadlifts,
man. What is that?
Legs and deadlifts, man.
No, I don't do deadlifts. No way. Never done a deadlift. I've done it before when I was learning. I've learned it. I've mastered it. And that's it. I'm never doing them because as a trader, you're picking up shit all the time. And if you blow your back out, you're fucked. So always a safe lifting technique. And it's just, to me personally, it's not worth bumming around when I'm 50, 60 years old. It's not good, bro. But Jack 3D, bro. Great pre-workout. Great pre-workout. What was in that they banned?
I think it was DMHA. It was in all the pre-workouts early on, like probably like 8 years ago.
Okay.
It was the shit that would literally make you feel like you're floating and gliding on air. It was awesome. And then like there's also this other pre-workout Oxy Shred. They used to have it in it as well. And then some kid in Melbourne or something had it with a Red Bull and vodka and had a heart attack. And so then pretty much it just rippled effect into being banned from all pre-workouts. And then it was like this, the DMHA powder itself was like being sold illegally by people. Like all the supplement brands who made it obviously had it and then gave it out and they were selling it. Like people were like buying it like it was cocaine. It was fucked.
Jesus Christ, man. That's ridiculous. Did you ever get your hands on any of this pre-workout?
Yeah, I used to have it all the time. I have had every pre-workout under the sun, every gaming energy drink under the sun. Like I've had it all. I'm probably numb to caffeine, to be honest. Like I can have a coffee and literally go straight to bed.
That's fucked, man. I know that my parents do that. And I'm like, how the fuck? Haven't had my coffee yet. I'm gonna go sleep. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's a stimulant. Like, holy shit, man. But anyway, dude, we're coming to the end of the podcast, and I'm just wondering, is there anything else you want to, touch on before we wrap this bad boy up?
Not a lot, to be honest. I think we've covered a lot of stuff that's going on with like EXO and stuff, and Modern Warfare and the stuff that we're sort of into and what's going on, and obviously touched on some health aspects. I think it's more. I think I want to, but me on a personal basis, I think, and I don't know if you're the same, but you keep yourself fit. I don't know how much you preach about it, but I do want to keep trying to push the healthier lifestyle for gamers. So it doesn't mean you have to be some jacked shredded unit to play games. It just means like just moving a bit more and changing, I guess, even the mainstream media thinking that people who just sit behind games are just like people have no life and just sit there and get fat. Like and I even see on social media, there is a lot of fit people who are getting jacked and shredded who play video games at very high levels. Like there is a shift in what's happening, and even the global stage, you see our generation is drinking less and more health conscious. Like there's less alcohol consumed now in our generation. So I think that's a thing that's rippling into the gaming scene as well. So I would like to see that aspect being introduced more, even in the products range. Like even say like Glitch Energy, they to my surprise, they have a supplements section as well, which sort of blew my mind. I'm like, well, that made me even get on board even more.
Huge.
I'm like, I'm all about that. I'm like, shit, you guys, this is my brand, baby.
Huge.
So yeah, so it's good to see like brands doing that. And I even saw there's the thing that's coming up in Bali. I think it's like where like nations tour. I think like Australia playing it, New Zealand playing it, and some other countries. There's a brand I saw, I forget what they're called, but they're like they're pretty big, and they work with Cloud9, I think. But they're a mental and fitness company. So they help like professional gamers, be at their peak mentally and physically as well, which is cool. So it's good to see there's some companies that are targeting that niche. So I would like to keep trying to, see if I can push that side. Well, I'm not fucking doing enough already as it is, but yeah, man, like I'd love to keep doing that, and see how we go.
I respect it, man. And I preach it with you, bro. I think that you're never doing any harm by getting yourself a little bit fitter. You can always improve yourself from yesterday. And that's something that we all should really strive for, and always keep doing, keep pushing forward. And there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. It's never going to be the end until it really is the end type of thing. But dude, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. You're an absolute legend. All Ace's socials will be in the description below, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't. Leave a like on the goddamn video, and a 5-star rating on all the audio platforms. We can be found on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and audioboom.com/GFreak speaks. But till then, remember to be safe, stay small, and as always, boom baby. Peace.